Good morning. It is August 29th, 2022. I've got my coffee. I'm half awake. Today is Magic Kingdom Day, and I am so excited, even if it doesn't really seem like it first thing in the morning. But yeah, today, headed to Disney's Magic Kingdom, my favorite park of the four here at Walt Disney World. A little behind schedule by a few minutes anyway, but that's alright. Got up and did my Lightning Lane selection first thing in the morning. It opens up at 7 a.m. Got one for Splash Mountain first, which is the main thing I really want to accomplish at Magic Kingdom today. That's kind of a nostalgic ride for me. In the last like 3 or 4 times I was here, it was down for maintenance, so I wanted to make sure that I have a chance to ride that. Early park entry for resort guests happens, I believe, at 8:30 today, so I've got to get a move on and get on the bus and get over there. But my plan for that is to hop on 7 Dwarfs Mine Train first, try to get that out of the way, because that Lightning Lane is an extra paid Lightning Lane if you want to do that. So I'm going to try to get that out of the way first. But yeah, super excited. Magic Kingdom today. Let's go.
The line for the bus was a little long this morning, but before too long, I was on my way to the Magic Kingdom. After taking just a moment to admire the beauty of Cinderella Castle this morning, I made my way over to Fantasyland and 7 Dwarfs Mine Train, taking advantage of the early entry for resort guests, because this is an attraction that normally has very high wait times during the day. If you can get there before non-resort guests get there and before Lightning Lane service starts, the line moves much quicker, and you can get this one finished before the park even opens, most likely. From there, I headed over to Frontierland to use my Lightning Lane reservation for Splash Mountain. This is one of my all-time favorite Disney attractions, a lot of nostalgia for me, and it is closing very soon for good, so I wanted to make sure I got to ride this one last time. I made another video a little while ago about why this ride means so much to me, and I'll post a link to that in the description below. From there, I headed back over to Adventureland and hopped on Pirates of the Caribbean. If you're familiar with the layout of the parks right now, you're probably going, what on earth is he doing? Well, for some reason, I cannot do a theme park in order. I just never do. So instead of going from land to land and experiencing things in order, I jump all over the place during the day. In Disney, I can kind of blame that on the Genie Plus Lightning Lane situation, because you kind of have to do that a little bit now with that. But just for example, I got off Pirates and ended up over in Tomorrowland on Buzz Lightyear. And again, I think that was because I had a Lightning Lane scheduled. So you'll see during this whole day, I am all over the park from one end to the other at any given moment. After Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin, I did stay in Tomorrowland and got on another of my favorite attractions, the People Mover. If you're not familiar, the People Mover is a slow-moving tour around the top of Tomorrowland, and I would totally recommend doing this at least twice if you're in Magic Kingdom, once during the day and once in the evening. It's a completely different experience, and I guarantee you will love it. I noticed as I was boarding, the usual signage was there for the People Mover, and there's also another sign hanging from the roof, which I thought was interesting. They had 2 signs so close together, and I didn't find out till after my trip that that was kind of like a very unique thing for those of us Disney park lovers, that they were actually just installing the new one, and those 2 were only there together for a day or 2. So that was pretty cool to be able to see that in person. I know that's such a Disney park nerd thing to say, but it was pretty cool. At this point in time, riding the People Mover was one of the only ways to see the construction on TRON Light Cycle Run, which is a brand new coaster at Walt Disney World. And so here is a look at, it looks like they're actually testing that day. So here's a look at the TRON construction on this particular day. Believe it or not, I actually stayed in Tomorrowland for a third attraction in a row. Another Disney Parks classic, Space Mountain. After getting my insides rearranged on Space Mountain, I headed back across to the hub, admired the castle for a little while, and put in a mobile order at Sleepy Hollow Refreshments. Now, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, food items at Walt Disney World. This is the Nutella and fruit waffle. It's a freshly made Belgian waffle smothered with Nutella spread and all kinds of fresh fruit on top, and it is delicious. It is seriously one of my favorite food items they offer here at the parks, and I try to get it every time. Absolutely worth it. My next stop was Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid. I did not have a lightning lane for this one, so I actually had to wait in the full queue, which I think I've only ever done one other time, so it was pretty cool to actually see all of the details in the queue. But Little Mermaid was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and this ride is always a cool way to remember and be immersed in that film. After that, I ended up back in Tomorrowland and enjoyed a showing of Carousel of Progress. This is one that many people say they enjoy because it's a chance to rest and be in the air conditioning and take a nap. I'll agree with the rest and air conditioning part, but I personally actually really enjoy this show. It's one that I remember seeing when I was at Disney for the first time as a kid, and it just is one that I try to see every time I'm there. And it's also pretty cool that Walt Disney himself had a hand in creating the original version of this that they showed at the World's Fair and then took to Disneyland from there. So it has some pretty cool history, and I enjoy seeing it every time I'm there. It's also cool that the theater rotates around a circular stage, and that's pretty unique as well. Another classic that I try to experience every time I'm at Walt Disney World is It's a Small World. This is another controversial choice. Again, some people like it only because it's a rest in the air conditioning and they hate the song, which I can understand. It is a little annoying after a while, but this is one that I have to ride every time I'm at Disney. Not too far from It's a Small World, we have Mickey's PhilharMagic. This is a 3D movie that takes Donald Duck through some mischief that ends up taking him through a lot of the classic Disney movies and songs. And it's a really cute and enjoyable 3D film, and I would recommend stopping in and seeing this one as well. Again, it's another rest from the Florida heat in the air conditioning, and it's a great show. Apparently, I was keeping the theme of shows with air conditioning going because my next stop was Country Bear Jamboree. This, as far as I know, was an opening day attraction here at Walt Disney World, and this one is special to me and my family because this is one that I remember both of my parents talking about seeing when they were kids shortly after the park opened back in the 70s. It's one that I watched with them as a kid when we went on our family trip, and I got to watch it with them again as an adult later. So it just holds a special place in my heart, and it's something that our family has experienced together multiple times, and something that I've experienced with my dad multiple times. Our family has a couple of inside jokes that come from this show, and it's just a fun, good time. So yay, Country Bear Jamboree. When I came out of the Country Bear Jamboree, Wendell was up on the roof greeting or terrorizing. I don't know. He was having a good time with the guests below. And so that's always fun to see those characters out and about. But it was also just about time for the Festival of Fantasy Parade to begin. After the parade, I had a Lightning Lane reservation for the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. As I walked back through the park, I just happened to catch one of the character cavalcades that they have that just pop up at random times during the day for the 50th anniversary celebration. It's kind of like a mini parade. You never know when it's going to happen, but it's a lot of fun, and you get to see a bunch of the characters. As I continued back down Main Street USA towards the train station, I happened upon something that I knew was a thing, but I had never personally experienced, and that is the flag lowering ceremony. They have the Main Street PhilharMagic marching band out to play as they lower the flag and ceremonially fold it, and then they present it to a veteran, a different veteran each day, which I think is a really cool thing. So that was really cool to finally witness that after having heard about it many times. After taking in the sights and sounds of Main Street USA for a bit, I headed over to Town Square Theater, and this is where you can meet Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And I just think that's always a really cool experience to meet the characters, especially Mickey, and they were in special costumes for the 50th anniversary celebration, so that was a really fun experience, and I will never turn down the opportunity to get my picture taken with Mickey Mouse. Peter Pan's Flight is one of those attractions that inexplicably always has an incredibly long wait time, and it's really hard to get the Lightning Lane reservations for. So I was somehow able to snag a Lightning Lane for this one today. I have nothing against this ride, it's just not one that I am willing to wait a very long time for. It's a very short ride, it's a very simple ride, but it is charming and kind of cute and takes you through the story of Peter Pan. So it was cool to be able to get to ride it this time because it's been a while. Had to stop for a moment and admire the Tangled themed restroom area. Poor Rapunzel deserves better than bathrooms, but it is beautifully done and it's cool to look at. Big Thunder Mountain is one of those rides that I have to ride every time I'm here, and it was kind of hard to snag a Lightning Lane for this one today, but I'm glad I finally got one and got to take a ride on that early this evening. As night begins to fall here at the Magic Kingdom, it seems like a great place to end this video. So in the next one, I'll pick up here and show all of the evening activities. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you'll join me for the next one.